Hello, dear friends and colleagues. My name is Veronika Yarnykh. I'm Associate Professor and Academic Head of a Master Program in the Russian State University for Humanities. And also, I'm the visiting professor at Moscow International High School of Business. Today, we will speak about one of the most interesting topic, which it seems to me it's the most interesting topic. We will speak and discuss the human capital management in today's complex and complicated environment. So, David, could you be so kind to start with our PowerPoint slides? Okay, thank you. Yes, the next slide, please. And okay, so the main or key focuses of my lecture and our discussion today, there are three main points. The first one, human capital as the main company's resources today. Then we will speak about main factors influencing changes in the human capital management system. And at least, but not at last, of course, we speak about integrated human capital management system in the company. It seems to me, and of course I'm sure, that you will have questions. So I would like to ask you to type the questions in the Q&A chat. I will see these questions and I try to answer all your questions at the end of our discussion. So you have such opportunity to ask about what's interesting for you. And now we will start, and we will start from the human capital as the main company resources today. Next slide, please. And so next slide, please. Thanks. You will the picture, the infographic about the global human capital trends, which we saw as minimum 5 years ago. So I would like to pay your attention on three main things. The first thing, there is new workplace. And of course, we will speak today about the workplace and about the work environment. It's very important things for our new generation's employees now. Also, I would like to pay your attention on the new role of human resources management. And in this case, we will see the new capabilities and new approaches and new methods and of course the new tools and technologies. So as minimum, just now, we have the new digital technology and new digital tool. We work now together in the digital communication space. You could ask me, I could show you and tell you something, and also we can see something. There is absolutely new digital tool for us and for everybody. Also, I would like to pay your attention on the third very interesting thing, which is the organizational design. We will speak also more about the organizational design, and I try to show you the role of organizational design now in the human capital management. And of course, not old and not new. Ideas about new leadership and careers. We spoke about leadership as minimum last 30 years. But now I would like to say that we live in transforming world. And now we as a managers, I'm also the manager. I'm project manager in UNESCO Global Initiative about media and literate and media information literate cities. So you are project managers, you are managers, top managers, middle, so on and so forth. But in all these spaces, we need as managers, we need the leadership skills and habits. And now practically during last 3 years we need to change our leadership skills, and now we can speak about the digital leadership. It's absolutely new thing for us, not only for human resources, but also for management sphere, also for sales sphere, and so on and so forth. So you see, I would like to underline the idea that today in the human capital development, we have new focuses. New focuses lies in new workplace, the first, new HR function and HR role, the second, new leadership and new careers and new approaches to the careers, the third, and the center of everything, organizational design. So please, next slide. And in this case, so let's see on the main factors which has the great influence on the human capital management system. I would like to underline that now we speak not about human resources, not about the personal management. Now we speak about the human capital management, because all the skills, all habits, or understanding of our employees, there is the capital of our um, company or organization, and there is the one of the main resources in our organizational environment. So let's see the main factors which can influence on the development of the human capital. So the first is there is the changes in generations in the labor market. We will speak about the new gens, new generations, and very shortly we will speak about the opportunities from each generation in our management everyday work. Also, digital transformation in our life and in the company environment, of course. As I said earlier, now we are in the transforming digital sphere. Also, speaking now when I tell you, and also I would like to repeat and to tell you again that you have opportunity to ask the questions in the Leave Q&A chat. Don't hesitate to do it, please. So, the first, changes in the generations in the labor market. The second, digital transformation in the life and in the company environment. The third, influence of media on the development of the company. And at least, the hybrid work format as an opportunity to develop human capital. Of course, last year and COVID-19 pandemic pushed us practically all the companies to the digital sphere. It seems to me that, of course, you know it because you worked and you work now in this new reality. Of course, it's necessary to understand that we need new organizational tools, new organizational technologies, new management technologies, and of course, we need in the new approaches to to us as a managers, mm, to our employees, and of course it's necessary to understand how we combine and how we connect all these things. So let's start from the labor market. Next slide, please. And next slide, please. Okay, so now in this slide or in this picture, in this infographic, you can see different generations on our workplace and work sphere. So I would like to highlight the three generation. Generation X. I'm the rep of Generation X. Generation Y, millennials. It seems to me that you are the most part of you, maybe the representative or reps of this Generation Y, and at least Generation Z. Um, ge- generation of gadgets, practically, or generation of smartphone. So, absolutely new generation. I can say it exactly because I work with this generation as associate professor and lecturer on the in the Russian State University for Humanities. I forgot the word. So, okay. And in this case, I would like to say that there is absolutely new generation, absolutely new, with new course, new ideas, new approaches. So let's see what's the main features of any generation. So let's start from Generation X, from me. Of course, the most part of this generation are the generation maybe on the top management positions, also middle management positions, but nevertheless, there are many employees inside your organizations and companies who are the reps of this generation. So you see the main features in which we can describe each generation. There is experienced, there is work as understanding of the work, aspiration, changing jobs. So how and when the reps of this generation change the work and or change their job, and careers ideas, so career path or career ideas, so when and how the reps of this generation would like to change their career path. So as you see, for Generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z, there are absolutely different ideas and different approaches. If Generation X prefer the long career, long motivation tools in salary, in performance management, also in bonuses program, in maybe on all other programs inside the company. They prepare work-life balance, and they prefer independence. So millennials, the reps of the generation Y, millennials, there is the most part employees in our labor market. So work is Work is work is cool, it seems to me. It's one word. In one word, we can describe all the ideas about work for the generation Y. Also, they prefer natural disasters, diversity. They prefer very fast career path, and they prefer freedom and flexibility during this workplace. So the millennials or the reps of Generation Y were the main pushers of hybrid or remote work during last years. And at least the Generation Z, generation of smartphones and gadgets. So absolutely new generation. So the reps of this generation are your brothers and sisters, nephews, and so on and so forth. They prefer structure and stability, and also they are absolutely multitaskers in their career. They prefer very short tasks. They prefer very short ideas in the salary. They don't understand long programs or long ideas or long approaches with the very long technologies. They would like to get everything just now and no more another things or prefers or ideas or something else. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Mhm. Thank you. Okay, so In this slide, you can see the millennials in the workplace. There is the difference between millennials, so the generation Y, and the generation Z, you see? So millennials and generation Z, they prefer very short truths, very short bonuses. They prefer salary just now, practically, very short tasks, and very comfort control truths. Uh, of course, nobody of us, I'm sure that nobody of us likes to be controlled. I know it. Know me, know you. But the Generation X understand very well that the control is the necessary thing in the management. So millennials and reps of Generation Z are not so sure that control must be. And I can say from my own expertise that for millennials, so the reps of Generation Y and Generation Z, so it's necessary to do very cool and interesting and fun tools of control. So they need fun and they need connection and they need communication during their work. Next slide, please. On this slide, you can see the main focuses on the differences between millennials and Gen Zs. So on their workplace. So in this case, you will see millennials constant reward. So the reps of Generation Z want money and stability, prefer to work independently, and look to enter the workforce early. Also, they prefer to find out about their future workplace not from the communication of their friends, but from the digital space. And I would like to mention and highlight this idea that now the digital space, there is the main source of information about company for Generation Z. Okay, so now next slide, please. And we have our first poll. Be so kind, please. Let's vote. You have only 1 minute, and during this minute, please answer the question. So, your department today consists of Generation X only, Generation Y only, mixture of Gens X and Y, mixture of Gen X, Y, and Z, and so you are practically the winner of our voting. Your department today consists of mixture of Gens Y and Z. Please, 1 minute voting. Start it, please. 1 minute voting. So it's really interesting to see with what generations do you work? Okay, great. We have the results. So, by the way, very interesting results. You see practically in live time. So, okay, so let's think about it. And now, the main ideas and main department now with our participants. So we have the mixture of Generation X, Y, and Z. There is the most important and only between us in whisper, there is the most difficult and hard thing when we have the mixture of all generation. in our department, not only in the organization, but also in our department. It means for us as managers that we need the opportunity to make the choice in different motivation tools, management tools. So we need to have the only approach for all our generations. And this approach must be the different for the reps of different generations. It's a very hard life of management, I would like to say. Great, thank you. Next slide, please. And next slide, please. And next slide, please. Okay, so I would like to support your voting practically, that there is the workforce in 2025 and there is the United States information. So in this case, by 2025, 1990 practically of all US workforce will comprise baby boomers, not so many reps, but Generation X, Millennials, and Generation Z. Great. So the future is now, here, practically. Great. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. And finishing and briefing the ideas. No. The previous ones. The previous. Thank you. So on this slide, you will see the main features of all generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z. I hope that this information will be interesting and useful for you when you will find the different approaches to all the generation and to all of your employees, and you can focus your management motivation programs basing on these ideas. Okay, now digital transformation. Next slide now, please. Next slide. And okay, so next slide, we will speak about the digital transformation and digital skills. Okay, so in this case, I would like to. So let's do this. Thank you. Okay, and the next slide, please. The infographic, and we see the picture. Great. So the main ideas about digital transformation and the main focuses of digital transformation inside the company. So there is strategy, of course. It's very important thing, but it's also very important for human capital management. Also, organization as organization, and we will speak about it today. Culture connected. This idea connects with human capital practically directly. Also, technology, and it seems to me that during these 2 years, you understood that as managers, you need absolutely new technologies, not only in the business procedures or in business process, but also you need new technologies in the communication and connection with your employees. No ideas with customers. It's not our cup of tea today. And people, practically the main theme and main topic of my lecture and our discussion. So there is 5 main ideas and main focuses of digital transformation. And under this digital transformation, next slide, please. Next slide, please. We need new digital skills, and these new digital skills, of course, about our opportunity to live in the digital world. So I would like to mention and I would like to highlight and underline the idea that we need the following skills. Information or data literacy or media literacy, We need the communication and collaboration. We need digital content creation and problem solving and safety. I'm sure that practically all our speakers during this program will speak or spoke about problem solving. I will not stop on this idea, but it's very interesting, very useful idea, but in whisper, nobody knows how to develop it uh, within the organization environment. Okay, next slide, please. Now you see the differences or the differences between several types of skills, and I would like to pay your attention that we need today in this digital transformation of human capital and for our human capital, we need basic skills and basic skills about email, about word processing, and advanced skills about big data and cybersecurity. Next slide, please. So, hybrid workspace, it's very important, and in this hybrid work format, I would like to show you the opportunities to developing and to develop human capital. Next slide, please. So I would like to pay your attention. You see that there is the poles and there is the material of Price Waterhouse Coopers and PVC, yes. And in this idea, I would like to highlight the following thing. So the 55% of employees prefer working remotely at least 3 days a week, and about 70% on the right side, 70% of executives think employees should be in office at least 3 days a week. So you see practically the main idea in hybrid work, 3 days a week we must be in office. It's very interesting potential from one side, but very interesting and potential idea from one side. But from another side, we must understand that in this case we need to organize and to build very special information and communication space within our company. Because what does it mean when our employees are 3 days at work, 3 days at home? It means that we can't find the opportunity to not to lose the information. It means for us as for managers and for executives that we lose information, that we lose tasks, that we lose communication. It means that from one side, employees want to be 3 days at home. From another side, executives want to see employees 3 days in office. The main idea, 3 days, but in different ways, you see. But nevertheless, it means that we need to build an absolutely new digital information and communication space in which we can save all communications, all information, all tasks, all control technologies and tools, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. It's interesting ideas about the challenges of the hybrid workspace and workplace, and you will see that the most interesting idea it's about the different percents in the physical office, and it's really very important for people, I would like to say, but not for millennials and not for Generation Z. Absolutely, Generation Z prefer to be in remote or distant work. Okay, let's vote. Next slide, please. We have our second poll. So let's vote and let's see. Do you and your company ready for hybrid work? Let's see. 2 days at remote format, 3 days in office. So 4 variants. Yes, we are ready and work just now. No, we aren't fully ready, but we have the detailed plan. So Foster, we have the plan, and we even didn't think about it. Nothing. And good question. We work in remote format fully just now. So about what do you ask us? 1 minute for voting, please. Let's see our 70 people and 70 participants. Where, in what format they work. Okay, let's vote. 75%. No, okay. How interesting. How interesting results. Great. Mm-hmm. 25 seconds. You see us during the Olympic Games. Last 20 seconds. Okay. Okay. So still you are voting. Don't forget to ask questions if you need. Q&A leave chat for your service, please. So it seems to me that we can stop the voting. And now let's see very interesting ideas and very interesting results, I would like to say. So practically 50% of our participants just now. Yes, we are ready and work. So, Veronika, what questions? We are in remote form just now, and so absolutely that. So we work in hybrid work just now. 50%, great idea. So the second result, 26%. We even didn't think about it. I would like to underline and to highlight these two results. 50% are working just now in hybrid format, so they need to prepare and to build the common information space, and it's necessary to duplicate all the absolutely all the information in different ways, and so on and so forth. And 25%, very big part, I would like to say. So they even didn't think about it. Nevertheless, I would like to pay your attention um, and push you to think now about this hybrid format. There is the future of our work just now. Okay, so in this case, and please next slide. Stephanie, thank you for question. I'll see it. Okay, so nevertheless, let's think and let's see the following thing. There is the key considerations for the move to hybrid working. So there are my arguments to go to the hybrid work. So the focus on employee well-being. Don't forget about it. Our human capital just now, and especially the reps of Generation Z and Generation Y think about well-being. It's the main idea. Also, I would like to say that the well-being is one of the main focuses of organizational strategies just now. Also, don't forget about the technologies for collaboration and communication. I mentioned it during my lecture. Then, okay, the security ideas, it's very important. And also next slide, please. Great. And we will see. So I would like to share with you the following information. Factors that attract employees to a potential employer. Of course, on the first place there are salary and benefits. Of course, we understand that. But please see, on the third place, I especially underline it by red mark, pleasant work atmosphere. And the main task for management today to provide the employees with well-being and pleasant work atmosphere. I would like to say that there are absolutely another tools of task setting, absolutely another tools of communication between manager and employee, and absolutely another tools and technologies in motivation and in control process of controlling, of course. Also, you will see 30%, the next thing, flexible working schedules, our previous poll and our previous discussion. Okay, next slide, please. And the future of work today. There is the flexibility of work content and workplace. The second, robots as colleges, and the gig economy. So, to drive true transformation in 2021, yes, next, please. Businesses are expected to focus on their people and access to technologies. So, people and technology, two main focuses of business just now. And also, I would like to say, don't forget about hybrid work and digital transformation, and build the digital common information and communication space within the company. So, next slide, please. Next slide, please. And so, main focuses for the successful human capital. So, let's collect everything about what I tell. So, new skills, because in digital sphere we need new skills. Innovative and agile mindset. It's about digital space, it's about hybrid work, it's about new technologies and robots as colleges, and new ways of attracting, motivating, and organizing your people. It's about the three generations on the labor market. It's about the digital technologies in our management life, and it's about the practically new era in the developing of human capital inside or within our organization environment. Okay, so next slide, please. And where is she? And next slide, please. So, and next slide, please. And next slide, please. Okay, so in this case, let's see the KHR focuses. So, new approaches in learning and development system. So there is media education, mobile education, and education apps. Digital mentoring for Generation Z. It's a very popular idea, I would like to say. Global corporate communication and HR branding in social media, not in the traditional media, but in social media, and organizational design in new digital world. Let's speak very shortly about these realities. So, next slide, please. Next, new corporate education reality. Yes, thank you. So you will see five main focuses. I would like to pay your attention on mobile first, because I would like to show we live with our smartphones, and everything, all our life is in our smartphones. So don't forget about it. Also about micro teaching, there is mentoring, and for example, Ernst and Young has a very interesting project about micro teaching and communication with colleges, so it's necessary don't forget about it. And gamification, there is the love of Generation Z. Don't forget that Generation Z, um, in their childhood, they have games, and they have absolutely games brain. They or game brain. They think as a gamers, and it's necessary for developing human capital. It's necessary to build gamification inside our organizational reality. Next slide and next slide, please. Through two slides. This one, yes, this one. There is the examples in which I told you about Ernst and Young. Also, I would like to tell you about Nornickel. There is the global company. It's not Russian, but it's Russian, but it's global company. So they started the program, 2 years long program about digital Nornickel, and there is the idea of implementation of media and information literacy in workplace and common life. I would like to mention that the target audience, all employees. Also, Ernst and Young, about what I told you. So now, please, I would like to suggest you the following. David, could you be so kind through 3 slides, please? Trends and following next slide and next slide. Okay, so in this case, I know that I have 4 minutes. I would like to ask you briefly and shortly, please write in chat the following. Okay, now we will go on another way. So, brief of our discussion and then your questions. So, the brief of our discussion. Let's see on 3 main things: work, workers, and workplace. So, I would like to pay your attention and highlight the idea, the future of work agenda. So, the first imperative is transform organization design and work design. So you will see in presentation, which will be shared with you about the organizational design, more information about it. So cultivate health and well-being, don't forget about it. Align new technology and skills, we spoke today about it. And build human-centric leadership culture. It's about the organizational culture and, of course, again about human capital. Okay, on this, with this fresh idea about our future of work agenda, I would like next question, or next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so your questions, comments, and concerns. So now, please, I would like to see the, okay, questions. Okay, so a question from Stefania Barzanti. I hope that I'm right in pronunciation. Sorry if not. There is another opinion. We are ready and we can do it necessary, but we are not willing to do it. Yes, so the question from Stefania, it was about the polling about the hybrid work. Yes, we can, but we are not willing to do it. Agree with you, but it's necessary to do. There is not about our wish or about our will. Unfortunately, the hybrid work today, it's about the necessity of modern world. It's necessary to do, and it's necessary to organize and build in such form and in such format which could bring efficiency for our business. Okay, so yes, Stefani, I agree with you that many companies are not aware of it. Maybe. So, Akika, okay. Your question. Big enterprise with, yes, David. 1 minute, I know.
No, I
So,
wanted to ask you a question.
oh, okay.
If that's all right. About hybrid work. That's been great for some people whilst there has been the pandemic on. But of course, when we're talking about building teams, it's great if you know people when you start the process. But what about new people onboarding and when people work hybrid? How do you think we're ever going to make them feel part of a team?
I work in remote format from the beginning of 2010 year. Here in Russia and not only in Russia. I would like to say that the most hard and different thing to collect people together in the team, but twice hard to combine and to collect people in the digital team. There, there is only one receipt, the common information and communication space. WhatsApp chats, the place on the organizational server with the mutual information and with common information which you can share between all the team members. Also, the masterclass of the best employees and share of best practices. It's wonderful tool to collect the team. And at least, of course, not the last, but at least. So it's necessary to be the digital leader. It's necessary to understand the risks and advantages of the digital sphere. And it's necessary to understand what's necessary to use and what's necessary to do. But I would like to highlight and underline the main idea. We live in digital world. It's necessary to us to use digital tools, and it's necessary to build the common information and communication space with different channels. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so
and I
much.
think we've got time for one very quick, well, it's a big question, but I don't know how long we'll be able to give an answer, but we've only got about a minute. So Akiko asks, big enterprises with a multinational, multi-layer organization, they need to transform their organization, but it's a huge task. How do they even begin?
So it's necessary to start from the targeted audiences, the first, the understanding representatives or reps of what generation we have, what's the mixture, X, Y, Z, and in what percent. The second, it's necessary to check what digital tools we use just now and what's necessary to use in future. And of course, it's necessary to have the strategy. It's necessary to collect the management team and executives, of course, and prepare very detailed plan for the future step-by-step activity. And also for Akiko, my special hello from my Shiba Inu dog.
Okay, I think we need to draw things to a close there. I'd just like to thank you, Veronika, very much indeed for a very stimulating presentation. And thank you all for logging in and watching. All of our sessions, unless indicated otherwise, will be available at the end of the day. We record them and upload them to the platform, so you can access them asynchronously, because if you were in California at the moment, it would only be it would be about 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're not expecting people from California to have joined this session. Right, we now have the diploma groups now go off to the next round of their Fresh Connection and their Industrat simulations. The rest of you can go and have a coffee and meet one another in the coffee chat. But we will meet again shortly. I'm not going to give you the time because it will appear differently depending upon where in the world you're looking at this, but we will be meeting for a multi-school panel in a short time an hour, I think. And that will be on the topic of women in management, a fascinating and neglected but hyper important area as the world moves forward. So thank you for your time today. Thanks again, Veronika. And I'm now going to bring this session to a close. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.